And welcome back. Well, today we have the United Report, United Update, and we have Pat English. Nice to see you, who is, of course, the president of the United Board. Nice to have you this morning.
Nice to see you too.
And we have Eva Leidick, and you are a board member. It's good to have. I don't know if you've been on before.
I have not been on
I can't
before.
remember if you have or not. Obviously, you have before. And we want to talk about a few things. One of them you talked about at your board meeting on
That's correct,
Tuesday
yes.
about the United average resale prices. And we're going to have some slides we're going to bring up here. And you sent out a graph and a chart and all. So why don't we go through these? And the first one is, it shows about how many months there? 15, 16 months. January 2013 to April 2014.
That's right, Ken. These are the average United resale prices between those months.
It's a little hard to see here, but
It is rather difficult,
yeah,
isn't
but
it?
we'll go through them.
The figure in January of 2013 was 152,369. By April by April 2014, it was 213,995.
Yeah, that's an incredible
That's an incredible increase.
That's good. That's good for everyone. I mean, it really is.
It really is,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
because if our prices go up, then so do thirds
Yeah,
prices
I mean,
go up.
it's a very good thing.
And that's our major fiduciary duty, is to protect our assets.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
So here's a chart of the United. Would you go to the
Yeah,
next
let's
slide,
go to the
please?
chart here, and this is the graph chart. Let's see if they can bring that up.
Okay,
And hold on.
here it comes. Next slide's
I
coming
can
up.
hear them back there trying to bring it up.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
There we go.
Okay.
All right. So this is just a chart of the numbers by month. You see the months
Yeah, and
down the bottom
this is
here.
a lot easier to see.
And you can see that if you were to put a straight line through it, that it's gone up significantly. We had a little dip in a couple of times, but nothing very significant.
Right, and a lot of times those dips that you see there are times of the year where it's not a big buying and selling time of the year.
That's right.
So, it's like buying a
seasonal.
car. You buy a car, and during the off-season, the buyer can get a better deal. It's the same
realtors
thing.
It's a seasonal thing
It is.
very often.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's go to our next slide.
And this shows the United resale values and from those dates there. And by the way, we talked about the seasonal thing. And we know that for families, the typical time they begin to buy is they start looking at the end of what would be called the school year, because they don't want to take their kids out of the school. And then they like to buy. Summer is always a hot time to buy. Here, do you find it pretty consistent, or do you know that? I've always been curious.
We don't have too many people buying because of their children.
No, but I would think that maybe it would be like after people had harsh winters back east is when the buying season starts to go up here,
Yes,
in the
that could
spring and all.
be. That
We
could
have a
be.
lot
I
of
don't know.
snowbirds here.
Yeah.
Yes. And we also have a lot of people coming from places like Palm Springs and Arizona.
Yeah, it
where
gets
it's very
too hot.
in the summer.
Yeah.
So they're better off here in the
Yeah,
summer.
exactly. For the most part, maybe not this last week. But all right, so this represents an increase of 40.4 in less than a year, 40.4%. That's
Isn't that
that's astounding.
amazing?
That is really good. That's
Well,
that's
actually,
incredible.
that's a little bit more than a year.
Well, yes, you're right. It's actually probably
yeah, sorry,
15,
let's correct
16
that.
months.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Okay.
So let's look at the next slide. Average Orange County home prices as of April. And again, this is a little hard to see, but you can go over them a little bit
Yeah,
easier.
this is very difficult to read, actually. This is from the Orange County Register, and it shows that resale condos, the average was 385,000. This is in April 2014, that was the average. Now, if we go down to Laguna Woods, we'll see that the average is 235,000. Now, I do want to say that Laguna Woods does not include United.
That's right.
So this is only for the condos,
Yeah.
for third.
That's right.
235.
Yeah.
But if you look at all the different average increases and sales in that, we'll find that United is doing much better than any of these.
Yeah,
So
very good.
I-
Let's and we'll look at the next slide here, where you can kind of see that, where you have an increase of 35.5.
That's just for the year, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty incredible. So that
Yeah.
is what you would call a 12-month
That's
year.
the 12 month.
And
yeah.
that's on the next slide, if we could
Yeah.
look at that. And I think it's, I think it's wonderful that that we, this is that's quite an increase.
It is. Whether we go just strictly the year, which that is at 35.5, or if we go from the January to the April, which is a little bit more, it's 16 months. We still have tremendous increases, whichever way we measure it.
Right.
Tremendous increases, and way above average for Orange County,
Yeah.
too.
And the last slide shows the why the dramatic increase.
Now, this is my opinion.
Okay.
I could be off, but I don't think so. I mean, I've got a lot of economics and CPA and all that kind of things behind me. The general economy and housing throughout the U.S. has gone up. I didn't get the statistics on
Right, yeah.
precisely what it has gone up. I would believe that the argument for that is probably because people haven't been finding good places to put their money. CDs have been paying
Yeah.
1% or something
Yeah,
ridiculous
exactly.
like that.
You pay them, it seems like.
And a lot of people are hesitant to go into the stock market.
Yeah.
So it might very well be that they've decided to put their money in housing. I don't know. I believe that because we removed the 6-month lease restriction, I'm not quite sure which month it was. I couldn't get hold of the minutes to find that out. I believe it's around May or June.
It was
we
of
got
last
rid of it.
year. I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember
last
myself.
year.
I don't know exactly. I remember when it was done, but I don't remember if it was like 30 days before it was implemented. I don't recall, but it was about May or June.
Yeah,
Sometime
yeah.
around then.
And of course, that brings in another unrelated thing. The fact that the 6-month lease restriction actually appears to have helped with our increase. I would go in and I would say, why do we have all the appointed people on United? That's a big question there. Everybody's asking us. Well, right about then, right after we passed the 6-month lease restriction, we had 5 people resign.
Yes, you did.
And they resigned because they didn't like the fact that we'd removed the 6-month lease restriction. So that's part of the reason, that's the majority of the reason why we have a lot of appointed people
Right.
on the
yeah.
board.
And we should mention that if people do not recall, that it was approved, and then there was a petition against it,
That's
and then
right.
it went out to a vote.
Yes.
And so it was voted to change.
They tried, with the
Right.
petition, they tried to have the lease, the fact that we had removed the 6-month lease restriction removed or rescinded.
Right, right.
Does that make sense?
Right,
It's
but
a
it
little
did
difficult.
eventually go to a vote.
Yes.
A vote of
The community.
The community, that's right.
And they voted the rescission of removing the 6-month lease restriction down.
Right.
In other words, they supported the board.
Exactly.
So we still have one of the lowest prices in Orange County, if
Mm-hmm.
not the lowest prices in Orange County. United is a very good place to buy. The values are very strong, and as long as we keep going the way we have, and I mean the United board, we'll keep the values up.
All right, and
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
no,
off.
it's Eva's turn now. Eva,
Okay.
you're going to talk about the business plan meeting for landscape and NC. This is the time of the year when you're talking about 2015, and you look at these different committees first, and then you get to version 1 and so on and so forth of the budget
Yes.
as a whole.
Yes, and it's a very critical and important time where we go through everything on the budgets line by line. The landscape, the first round of the landscape was on May 8th, and we went line by line. And the next one coming up is on the 22nd, next week, for maintenance and construction. That is our biggest spending
Yeah.
little circle of stuff. And we go through line by line. And it's a great opportunity for people in the community to come and actually see how their money is spent, to really understand it. And they can have input. It's really a very relaxed atmosphere. There's
Right.
nothing threatening. Anybody wants to say something, they're welcome to come up and say something if they think, one thing is not done enough or too much or whatever. Now is their time. And even if they don't want to say anything, I encourage them to come, because it's a way to see just exactly how how your mutual is running the business. And this is maybe one of the most important meetings, and it'll give more
is.
insight than probably any other meeting that you'd ever attend.
Because if people don't come and you don't hear from them, and this is true of all the boards, you're not going to know a lot of it may be just one person that says, you know what, I've noticed things over and over again. I think you guys should look at this, maybe increase the budget for this, or whatever it might be. This is the time for them to come, because there's 11 of you on the board, and yes, there's staff and all, but you may not have the opportunity to see every little thing. You're not. It's impossible. You need to hear from people.
No.
Absolutely.
And it's also nice at these business planning meetings, there is not only the board members on the committee, there is staff there as
Yes.
well. And it's a great opportunity to understand what they mean by particular things and
Sure.
what goes into a particular item. So I just really encourage people to come. May not be as exciting as a Kentucky Derby, but it may be more important.
And you don't serve mint juleps, do you? Because
No
that would
mint
get people
juleps.
there.
No mint juleps. But if
what's
we
the-
had to, maybe we should.
Yes. What's the date on that meeting again?
It's May 22nd.
Okay.
In the morning at 9:30 is the business planning part. And if
Okay.
you really want this stuff, you can come back at 1 where we talk about reserves. And this is for maintenance and construction,
Okay.
which is a major item for the mutual.
And of course, what we do, we always get the list of the meetings, and that list is already on my list. So I always remind people that day, I always give everybody what are the open meetings available for you to go to.
And that, of course, is the basis for the assessment.
Sure it
Exactly,
is, of
yes.
course.
So-
Especially that. I mean,
Especially that one.
That committee
Especially
more than
landscape.
anyone.
More
Probably
than-
landscape too, but
Landscape's
really.
second, but
Yeah.
that one's the big one.
Well, very good. Yeah, please go to those meetings. This is the time of the year. Whatever mutual you live in, this is the time to participate. It's a very important time, because once those budgets are set, you're like, well,
Yeah.
maybe you should have brought that up to us months ago. We could have really looked into that a little bit more, right?
Right, exactly.
All right. Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, not about that, but
Okay.
you go ahead.
Oh, you have something you'd like to add? Sure.
No, that was,
Okay.
no, did you?
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about the United Survey.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
Okay. In February 2014, we sent out a survey. It was a random sample survey, and we wanted to determine if the United members were in favor of the Recreation Master Plan. So I just wanted to go through the steps, or
Okay.
an overview of the steps. We obtained a member list from PCM, and this was our universe. Then we called a meeting, and we got as many statistical people that had used statistics, knew how to work out confidence levels and what have you. And we had a meeting, and from that, we got their opinions on what they thought the confidence level should be and what the sample should be. So from this, we determined that the confidence level should be 90%, and if we wanted it at 90%, we'd need a sample of 500. We obtained a program called the Randomizer, and from this program, 500 units were selected for the survey. We bought 1,000 postage stamps and envelopes. We got a group of volunteers together, and they stuffed the envelopes and put all the postage on. In the meantime, since our primary goal was to determine our United members' attitude toward the Recreation Master Plan, we decided to ask the following question. Are you in favor of building a main lounge and demolishing Clubhouse 2? Yes, no, or abstain. The deadline for response was March the 11th. The results of the survey was that out of 300 ballots which were returned, 81% is actually just over 300 ballots, but I couldn't find the exact figures. We had a few that were returned because they were the wrong address, maybe 10.
Okay.
And a couple of abstentions. I think there were 6 abstain. We had 81% voted no. They were not in favor of the Recreation Master Plan. They were not in favor of building a main lounge and demolishing Clubhouse 2. In our opinion, this was a clear indication that United members do not favor the Recreation Master Plan.
Okay, all right, very good. Well, thanks for bringing that forth and the information behind that. Edith, nice to have you on.
Thank you.
Did you want to say anything else in closing?
Not really, other than, I really would like to see people come.
All
I'm
right.
new to the board, and I see the same faces every meeting practically, and it's really exciting when there's some more people come.
Yeah,
Even if they're
it
a little
is.
bit hesitant and they don't know quite what they're doing, that's okay. It's their meeting, it's
It
their
is.
community.
Very good. Nice to have you both on. Yes?
I would like to add something rather apolitical.
Okay.
But I would like to say that I think we have a great board in United, and I would like all the people in United to vote no on the recall.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
bet they probably will. All right, thank you very much. We'll be
Thanks.
back in just a moment.